This is Devlog number 1 of my Minecraft Datapack for Hololive Myth. The date is Tuesday, May 18th. I started this project a couple weeks ago, and I've learned basically from square one, creating the datapack, the models, textures, animated textures, the commands and function files and stuff. So let's begin. The first item that I'm working on is Mori Calliope's scythe, and these items are used to create it. This is the passive soul fragment, neutral soul fragment, and hostile soul fragment. These are just, well, I'll show. But to create these, one has to kill a bunch of animals, mobs, corresponding to what type they are: passive, neutral, and hostile. So if I throw all of the passive mob drops down, and then add soul sand, it'll create the passive soul fragment. Not all the drops are included, such as rabbit, raw rabbit meat, and rabbit's foot, but rabbit hide is in there. Wool isn't in there because that can be created using string, but most of the passive mob drops are in here. If I throw the soul sand, boom, sand as well as the passive soul fragment. And while I'm holding this, I'm pressing W, and there's no way to move. I don't know if I'll keep that or not, but I thought it's a cool detail because it's a literal soul, so it's like putting weight on my human character. Next is the neutral soul fragment, which string, spider-eye, pufferfish, enderpearl. These are the only neutral mob drops that I know of. There is hide, I think, from llamas, but not hide, leather. Leather can be obtained through many different mobs, so I chose not to include it here. Boom, neutral soul fragment as well as sand. The reason why sand is left over is because it is just taking the soul out of the soul sand. Next is the hostile soul fragment, and I think this one is self-explanatory. The hardest one to get in there is the shulker shell. I also did not include boss drops like the nether star or the ender dragon egg because I don't think they should be necessary for the scythe. Now, after obtaining all the soul fragments, if I throw all these down, as well as a totem of undying, I get soul essence. The reason why I included the totem of undying is because I was unsure if these items should have like a binding item with it, similar to how these fragments needed soul sand. I might remove that later. Now, on to the next pieces, being the parts for the scythe. Now, these are all the materials, and these are the looks of the crafting recipes. They can be crafted in the crafting table. For the soul essence, I just used dropping the items, because later I can create animations and particle effects for when it gets crafted. I think for these items, they don't need to have those effects, and it's just simpler to put it in a crafting table. I will need 2 of each. I don't have enough nether scrap, but the first item, this item, is the scythe handle. And the second item is this item, which is the snath parts. I created these textures myself. This is based off of bamboo with the color of netherite handles, and this is based off of the iron ingot. Now that we have these, we can move on to the last part, which is actually creating the scythe. Now, I have this custom crafting table. It's going to become the mythical table. As of right now, it doesn't have a model, and I don't have any ideas for the model. And it only has this one crafting recipe. Do that, and then place the salt essence right here. And that gives us the Shinigami Scythe. When you place it on an item frame, it looks like this. So it is much bigger than the actual item frame. Also, when it's on the floor and on the item frame, you can see all of the details. My favorite part about this is actually this little winglet. I think it turned out really well. The curvature of the snath looks kind of weird right here, but I think I did a good enough job. Now, earlier you could see this does 9 attack damage each swing, and the attack cooldown is really fast. I am meaning to add an attack cooldown, but I don't have any methods to do that yet. And if I right click with the scythe, it does that. It shoots a wither skull. Now, I think it's fine breaking blocks. It's just you could break a lot of blocks. So maybe I can add something to limit that, like you take damage, but I feel like that's not fitting either. Oh, and these don't break stone blocks. Okay, I did not know that. Now if I set the time to night, so this is just a zombie. If I hit mobs with it, they gain the wither effect. Now, I think that's it for now. Hopefully by the next devlog, I'll have a model for this, and I might start on Kiara's sword or shield. The shield is going to be a little trickier with the model. I tried doing that before I tried implementing all this other stuff that I just showed, and I could not get it to work. But hopefully I figure out a way how. I'm still learning how to do this. But I mean, like, I created this. That's pretty good. And that concludes the second devlog. The first devlog? What? That concludes the first devlog.